This video is going to be a film study look at the combined efforts of DK Metcalf and Jaxon Smith-Njigba in Seattle's challenging and difficult 23-20 overtime win on the road against the Patriots. A very tough defense there. Look, they have a star in the making corner, if you ask me, in Christian Gonzalez. I know that DK Metcalf got him on a seam touchdown pass, 56 yards in the first half, but Gonzalez has battled two separate types of receivers over the course of 2 weeks. So credit to DK for what he was able to do. And look, you have to talk about Geno Smith being so efficient from a statistical standpoint, 33 of 44, so 75% completion percentage, over 300 yards passing, one touchdown. He did get sacked 3 times. These two guys, Metcalf and JSN, that I'm going to talk about, they carried the load, obviously, combining for 22 catches on 30 targets. DK, I felt like he made a big play, 56 yards, yeah. 2 tough catches in the fourth quarter on that drive to go down and get the game-tying field goal, in fact, in the fourth quarter after Julian Love had blocked the field goal. JSN, I thought, was just a consistent pest for the Patriots all over the field. Yes, there's a number of short routes that stretch the defense horizontally, working from the slot position into an out route. The Seahawks, I thought, did a great job of getting him the ball, of revealing his alignment late. So he would shift across the formation, sometimes line up at running back, and then move out into the slot to the boundary late. They were manipulating matchups that they thought were in their favor. And really, on a day when Kenneth Walker III doesn't play because of injury, he had run for 100 yards against the Broncos the week before, and then suffered, I think, an abdomen injury or something like that later in the game. So no run game to speak of overall. Geno Smith had to try to rush 4 or 5 times, wasn't able to develop anything, not like the week before, the 34-yard touchdown scamper that he has. Zach Charbonnet only generated 38 yards on the ground, so they needed this production from these two guys, and they got it. I'm going to break the film up into 3 parts. DK's contribution first, then JSN, and then finally talk about one more. I think you would call it a clutch catch or a clutch play by Tyler Lockett, this one in overtime, leading to the game-winning field goal. So let's get this started talking about DK Metcalf's first touchdown, 56 yards. I think it's the second possession of the game. I would call this sticks by the Patriots defense. And Christian Gonzalez, look, is just caught looking. It's one of my complaints about sticks coverage. Now, it's not exactly the blitz zero look that the Dolphins, popularized and so many other teams. You only have 6 defenders in the box. It's a 2nd and 5, so I'm not sure that it necessarily fits with being called sticks blitz zero, but Christian Gonzalez staring right at the quarterback, and it's very actually. I'm not a Patriots fan. I'm a Ravens fan. I'm not a Christian Gonzalez fan necessarily, other than the fact that I watched his pre-draft film from Oregon and thought that he looked like a spectacular talent. It disappoints me that this is out there on film for him, even though I'm doing a Seahawks-related content, because Christian Gonzalez has played so well through 2 weeks. This is an anomalous play from his perspective, but Geno Smith, I'm not a huge fan of calling things anticipation routes, to be honest with you, but Geno Smith, I thought, threw the ball slightly ahead of schedule a handful of times in this game, and looked really smooth and very confident. They were without Fant, the right tackle, again. I thought Geno Smith looked exceptional in this game. If you're a Seahawks fan and you're watching this video, first of all, thank you for supporting my content. Second of all, let me know what other people have said about Geno Smith's play. I find him to be very balanced in this game, under control. Nothing looked like he was pressing, even at times when there was pressure. This one actually happens to be a penalty. This is 3rd possession. I thought there was a number of ways they were trying to get DK the ball, either on screens. This one comes back, like I said. Actually, I believe this play was declined. It was a penalty against the Seahawks offensive lineman for being downfield. I felt like they were very intentional about trying to get DK the football on screens, 2 of them, in fact, and then some drag routes that were very fruitful. They're very productive, I guess I should say. 4th possession, this is one of them. I would call this a downfield screen. It's a 2nd and 20. You do have Gonzalez at corner. He was pretty much following DK Metcalf most, if not all, of the day. I would refer to this as a downfield screen because you are releasing to the trip side, but the backside X is running an underneath concept. And the whole intention of this is to get the ball to the backside X, in this case DK, on this underneath route, and then run underneath of these downfield blocking attempts. There's nothing illegal about it. It's a 2nd and long, so the Seahawks, are anticipating off coverage. In this case, Gonzalez does not follow DK at all. Look how quickly Geno's getting rid of the football. I think they designed some really nice pass concepts. I saw that particular concept by 3 different teams in the NFL in week 2, so it's being utilized and recognized by everyone as something that is kind of a little bit of a glitch, but great design. Again, similar conceptually, this leads to a field goal late in the half. There's actually less than 20 seconds left in the half here, and they end up spiking the football. A little bit of a delay underneath by DK. It's a 1st and 10. Again, we're skipping possessions here, focusing on each receiver individually. You've certainly got zone here. Gonzalez releasing DK underneath to the coverage. Routes being run to the trip side. DK settles underneath. 9-yard gain. They end up having to spike and get a field goal there. Puts them ahead, I think, 17-13 at the half. Offense gets shut out for pretty much the entire 3rd and 4th quarter until the game-tying field goal with a minute left. This is 3rd quarter, first possession of the 3rd quarter. Another example of the Seahawks trying to get the ball to DK and let him run after the catch. Gonzalez is following him. It's just a smooth corner, man. Look, DK has dealt with 2 very talented and tough corners the first couple of weeks. I think Christian Gonzalez playing at an extremely high level, absent the 56-yard touchdown that DK and Geno dropped on him there on the 2nd possession that I already showed you. Go route down here at the bottom side of the screen, going to be incomplete. I'm not just going to show successful plays. When I do a film study video, I try to show some balance and give you guys some flavor beyond just successful plays. I want to paint as much of the picture as I can without showing 50 plays. I think I've got 23 queued up here. But it's a go route against Christian Gonzalez, who I think is exceptional at being able to tempo receivers, stay in contact with them. It's something he did at Oregon, I thought, but not commit the penalties. There's other young corners in the league that are going to be around for a long time, but are a little bit more grabby. He's just smooth. Everything he does is smooth, if you ask me. DK is downfield here trying to make the catch in a contested situation. Great play, if you ask me, by Gonzalez. I'm glad that Geno Smith, that you have a quarterback that will throw that football. You have a huge, talented weapon like DK Metcalf. He deserves those opportunities. Okay, 2 wins here on the late 4th quarter possession. You're talking about 2 minutes left to go. Down by 3. 20-17, like I said, 17-13 lead at the half. And then unable to get any points going. Yeah, there's an extension by DK here. Gonzalez post-snap is going to be asking for a penalty. Geno's got to get out of there. Tucks this throw right there in on the right sideline for DK. Clutch moment, if you ask me. They've had some clutch moments the last couple of weeks. Look at the immediate pressure in Geno Smith's face via this blitz. And then rolling out to his right, you can see the separation that DK has been able to gain. Like I said, extending his arms to get Gonzalez off of him, who thinks that there should have been a penalty. Another one. This one, a shorter gain, I think 9 yards, 8 or 9 yards. 2 plays later, DK is up to the top side. A little bit of a clunky path here, but it's a stacked Twins release. Gonzalez to his side. You've got Lockett and DK up there to the top side. Another drag, and Patriots were definitely on to the game at this point. You can see he's fronting DK up. Some contact here on the tight end Fant. DK's able to navigate all of that, and credit to Geno Smith. Little sidearm flip. Show you the athleticism in the 59th or 58th minute of play. Cool design. I think that the Seahawks' manner of getting the ball to DK Metcalf tells you what their coaching staff thinks of Christian Gonzalez. And feel free to let me know if you think I'm overstating it. Defender possibly closing into this window. It's still a 2-on-1. Geno could scramble. That defender decides to go ahead and front up Geno. Sidearm flip to DK, 9 yards. Cool play, if you ask me. Geno was cool under pressure, from what I saw. Led to the game-tying field goal. puts the game into overtime. This all happened after the blocked field goal by Julian Love, which I'll do a One Play Wednesday video about a couple of days from now. I like to do one play videos, offense, defense, whatever. And anytime there's a blocked field goal or a great special teams play, I like to reward it, and I think it's worth my time. All right, moving on to JSN, how well he played. I don't know if it's considered a career day, but I think 12 catches on 16 targets. Little out, so agile, and you'll see it during some of these plays. And some yards after the catch, I thought maybe they weren't significant yards after the catch, but he seems to be a guy that when he catches the football, he's already got his foot in the ground to make a move and get more yards, 3, 4, 5 yards after the catch all the time. We all remember that huge game that he had, I think as a sophomore at Ohio State in the bowl contest against Utah. That's not who he is in the NFL from a big play standpoint. They moved him around a lot and take advantage of that agility. This is a 3rd and 1 on the first possession. So many shifts and then little out up to the top side. Jabril Peppers, who I think is playing extremely well for them, ends up making the tackle, but it's a 3-yard gain, converts. Geno found him on multiple 3rd downs yesterday. You can see Peppers is already creeping down. JSN just going to run the little speed out. Additional to that, DK up to the top side, a little bit deeper out. And not so deep. I drew that a little too far. But Geno Smith's got 2 options, throwing it off the right foot in time, maybe slightly behind JSN. Ends up getting the conversion for a 1st down. Still first possession, incomplete. Over the middle on a 3rd and 15. Like I said, I'm not just going to show successful plays. You got the tight end, Lockett, and JSN up to the top side. I got 2 dig routes on this one, 2 deeper in-breaking routes. Almost a completion. It ends up being a Tampa 2. I would call it by the Patriots. Geno getting rid of the football. As far as JSN is concerned, it's slightly late for the break. I'm not saying it's late from Geno Smith's perspective at all. I think he was on time, if not early, throughout pretty much the entire game. So Tampa 2, hard corner sitting in the flats. Another corner sitting in the flats up here. A little bit more depth because it's 3rd and 15. Zone dropper out of here, basically running the pipe between the hashes, making the Tampa 2 be what it actually is, functionally a 3-deep coverage. 2 dig routes. Lockett, the first one. JSN, the second one, maybe slightly shorter route. Bends it in, maybe a little bit sharper turn or shorter turn, the way that I drew it. Ends up in a completion. But look, the Patriots defense playing fast. They were up to the challenge. I think it's 2 worthy defenses that duked it out yesterday. Hide concept from the top side. JSN is here. He's going to slide out into the flats. It's a short gain. This is 2nd possession preceding DK's touchdown. You can see Gonzalez following him again. JSN is really smart, and I think you got to credit Geno Smith's ball handling on this day. I already talked about and kind of illustrated the drag route where he throws it sidearm to DK Metcalf in a high-pressure situation. It's the 4th quarter, late 4th quarter. Now here we are, an outside linebacker fronting him up, potentially to chase and make him get rid of the football. Another little flip, this one to JSN, who's also dealing with a defender that's in front of his face. Cool little play to execute. I think it's Jones, 25, who's an underrated DB, all the way across the field to make the tackle. By the way, that's a conversion on a 2nd and 5. 3rd possession, he's going to end up wide open here to trips. They did this a lot. Start him to the boundary, move him to the field, create a trip set, or have him and Lockett switch for various reasons. Jones follows him, 25. So you've got Lockett, DK, JSN, all to the same side of a trip set. He's running an inside release shoot route. Lockett clearly with a pick rub on Jones. They're playing man. Wide open, 19-yard gain. Credit the scheme, but also think you have to talk about the fact that when he catches the football, there's no one around, but he always catches it, in my opinion, such that he's ready to make a move or a cut. He seems to have a great awareness of where the space is going to be. Again, you can see the pick rub concept and Geno Smith all over it. Already pulling the pin on the grenade to release it to JSN. Catches it, makes a cut, very agile. I know his shuttle time was incredibly quick at the combine when he came out for the draft. Still third possession. This is going to be a backside X route, somewhat anomalous for this game, meaning he's not in the slot. He's not initially lined up at running back and then motioning out, but gives you an idea of the balance that he has in terms of where he can line up and how his agility helps him out. Geno Smith senses the pressure from the left-hand side. JSN's brought this route to the inside a little bit, bringing it back here. Has to go down a little bit to get the throw, but look, it's a very difficult or demanding situation for Geno Smith. Try to focus on what he's doing and what he's got to navigate during this play. It's a nice route on the backside from JSN, don't get me wrong. There's pressure from the left side, and then he's got to elevate himself almost to throw it between one defensive tackle. There's three guys here. This guy's fronting him up. There's the rusher from the left side. There's another I don't know if I give you the end zone angle. That's why I'm kind of annotating it here. And then finally you have a defender that he's got to throw it over the top of. I don't know what the degree of difficulty would be considered on this throw. Let's see if I get the end zone angle. I do. So I don't know. I forget the website. There is one website that I've seen talk about degree of difficulty on particular throws. So what would it be on this one? I think it's got to be pretty damn high. He's almost like elevating himself. You could see his posture go vertical for a moment to maybe even, the awareness to maybe even try to get above those two players there, the offensive lineman and defensive lineman. Great throw, if you ask me. I think a really good route by JSN. Shows you his hands. One more time, just because I think it's such a great play. Maybe I'll do a one-play Wednesday on this one, but I usually try to do game-changing plays or ones that tilted the momentum. This is a 1st and 10. Sixth possession, going to be an incomplete pass from a boundary side trips alignment. So again, late motion or late shift. JSN up to the top side. It's a 3rd and 7. This one's actually complete. My apologies. They bring Fant into the backfield, anticipating a blitz. It shows up. Charbonnet picks his guy up, and JSN slides over the top of a zone dropper. Very similar to the Tampa 2 that I had diagrammed earlier from the standpoint of one of these guys on the line of scrimmage dropping out in the middle of the field, between the hashes, that is. So 99 is dropping out of here. It's not a Tampa 2 because it's not 5 under and 2 deep. It ends up being what I would call a 2 deep, 4 under. And JSN's going to bring this route behind him. Again, it's a 3rd and 7. Geno Smith knows or knew that there was going to be pressure. And so he stepped or slid just a little bit to the left away from those blitzers. Throws it before JSN clears 99. I think it's White. And JSN catches it between the two defenders. Great throw, if you ask me. 24 yards. I love the little, we used to call it Ray Rice, where he puts his hand on the ground. Got the football in the other hand, obviously. Puts his hand in the ground to try to regain balance and get more yards after the catch. I'm talking about post-catch here along the left hash. Right there. Great body control, awareness. Didn't give the end zone angle. It's unfortunate. That one probably would have been a good one to look at from behind. Still third quarter. I think first possession of the third quarter. I may be wrong. It's a 3rd and 15. JSN once again has motioned from the boundary slot position to the field to create trips. Cool design with the tight end. They're running the tight end underneath to pull this defender, 21. And then JSN's just reading the leverage of Jones. You can see where this is going to go. So easy route for him. Credit to Geno Smith for reading it quickly, getting the ball out to JSN. Delay, shake, slant, whatever you want to call it. Just reading the leverage and then fitting on the left hash. Ball is there. 14 yards. It's a 3rd and 15. My apologies. I think I misspoke a moment ago and said 3rd and 7. They actually went for it on the next play and didn't get it. End zone angle, same play. You can see JSN motioning across left to right on our screen, right to left for the offense. Not only did Geno Smith throw the ball well and operate efficiently, but I think he did a nice job of recognizing things pre-snap and helping get the pass protection set up correctly. Not as much of an impact in the fourth quarter, particularly on that late drive where DK had 2 catches, nor in overtime, which I will annotate and illustrate Tyler Lockett's clutch catch on a little bit of an adjustment. Thought this one was going to be a catch. Ends up being a wheel out of empty. To the field. I like his pace when he's running the wheel. Sometimes it's a little bit of a horizontal release and then upfield. Occasionally you get what would be a more difficult thing to defend, a little bit of a vertical, and then turn it into a wheel. He's also, I've seen him before, not in this game, start to run it and then hesitate here and then continue on the wheel path. So I think he's a guy that not only is he very agile, very smart, great hands, but also someone that kind of varies the actual route. Here I think he's got an opportunity to catch the ball. Unfortunately, it goes down as I would call it a drop on the left sideline. A drop for somebody of the quality of JSN, if you ask me. Overtime, couple of short catches, motioning him out from the backfield. So he is actually the running back right now. Charbonnet, I think, is down at the bottom of the screen, spread out wide. And all they're doing is waiting to see the coverage. Okay. Linebacker steps out with him. Now we'll motion JSN out. We got our matchup that we want. Little shake, also an influence by DK. So DK is going to bring his route to the outside shoulder of 25. Here, he's not necessarily going to touch him, but what he's doing is he's forcing 25 to wait till DK clears to go underneath. Or the other option, which could potentially be worse, is to go over the top of DK's route and really give JSN space. In this case, Jones is put in a really difficult spot. In this day and age, the offense pretty much gets away with that stuff. So JSN, I thought, played a spectacular game. Maybe the touchdown wasn't there, not the big play that DK Metcalf had. He's a fun player to watch. A little bit of a late start on this snap that ends up being, I think, another clutch catch or great adjustment by Tyler Lockett. When I say a little bit of a late start, I'm talking about JSN up to the top side of the field. Another example of them motioning him from the boundary to the field. Here he is. Doesn't necessarily look ready at the beginning of the play to get off. Kind of stands still for a moment. Sprint concept by Geno Smith. Charbonnet out in front to lead. Lockett's route brings him in here to the middle of the field, and then he just does a nice job adjusting and bringing it back. I don't think that's the way that it's drawn up at all. Geno was looking for something over here to this side with JSN. You have DK kind of running this little skinny post. And there's really nothing there at this point, so credit Geno Smith for coming back to the wide side of the field, finding Tyler Lockett. Look, it's not as amazing as Tyler Lockett's catch against, pretty good coverage, if you ask me, a week ago against the Broncos, but it's still an example of him when the team needed something to be done. It is a 1st and 10, creating a 16-yard catch that pretty much puts them into guaranteed field goal range. They converted one play later. Step out of New England with a 23-20 win. Maybe I went through too many plays here, but when I began to check out this video or try to create plays and put them in order, I just kept feeling like I didn't want to omit certain opportunities, certain plays. I wanted to illustrate the way they utilized DK Metcalf, even though he did get the 56-yard touchdown against Christian Gonzalez. I feel like that play is somewhat anomalous from the coverage scheme, from the technique that Gonzalez was allowed to play. I wish we could have seen, well, I'm glad it turned out to be a touchdown, first of all, for you guys. If you've listened this long, thank you. But Gonzalez plays really well in man coverage, particularly on deep concepts. You saw that later on. I think the Seahawks tipped their cap a little bit to the Patriots and Gonzalez in particular with a lot of the underneath routes that they ran with DK and screens because Christian Gonzalez is so freaking good. On the other side, or in various locations on the field, JSN just ate them up. A bunch of jabs, maybe body shots by JSN to kind of move the ball forward. And absent a consistent run game, I thought it was a brilliant performance from those two and JSN. And then Tyler Lockett, who didn't get as many catches or make as much of a contribution. I think he was the beneficiary of a DPI, a defensive pass interference on the Patriots that pushed the ball down to the 1, allowed Charbonnet to score in the first half. But a credit to him for adjusting on that play. Geno Smith, smooth, smart, very calculated and prepared. Whatever they did from an offensive standpoint to see the differential. Yes, there's a large stretch of the third and fourth quarter where they're unable to get points on the board and get things going consistently, but night and day difference. I did not watch the Seahawks game live this week. I could not. I watched the Broncos game live though, and that offense was really poor and had a lot of trouble all over the place. Huge difference 1 week later, and you needed it going against what I think is a pretty good defense of the Patriots. JSN and DK Metcalf kind of led the way. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the breakdown, please let me know in the comment section. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm sure that you guys know at this point, comments drive the video to be shared to larger audiences, so please let me know if you enjoyed the content, like I said, and consider commenting to help me out, because this is one that I did for you guys. So much support from Seahawks fans as I have stepped into doing some content highlighting your team. If you think other Seahawks fans would enjoy this video, enjoy this content, film study look at Metcalf, JSN, and obviously Geno Smith as well, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.